Okay, I usually don't do these kind of videos, but this new AI feature in YouTube Studio is pretty cool. So this is our video analytics page for a recent episode we did with Barry McCardell, CEO of Hex. If you're not familiar with YouTube, all of your videos get this kind of like detailed analytics. It's pretty cool. It's like probably some of the best in product analytics I've ever really experienced as a data scientist. So you can see this one's pretty doing well. It's been out for a little over 3 weeks, and it's hitting over the upper band of the confidence interval in terms of our watch time, which is what we want. And it was a really interesting and fun interview. But what's really cool here is there's this new feature, Ask Studio. I didn't notice this. It just kind of like popped up today. I think it's in like experimental mode, maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah, basically you can chat with an AI here, Gemini, about what's going on with your performance or anything, or ask it ideas. But for instance, here I want to know, how did our video with Barry perform? And so it takes a while to think. We can expand it here, and here we go. So it means some of this is just like reiteration of the metrics. That's kind of nice because it compares it to everything else that's going on. So strong engagement, high watch time, consistent interest. Also get some audience growth through subscribers. And it'll tell us, specifically, um, our average view percentage here of this one is at 15% is way above our typical range of like 8 to 9. And what I really like is it's getting into areas for improvement. So it'll actually look at your retention curves and tell you where people are dropping off, which is already, in the analytics down here. But in this case, the AI will actually read through the transcript of the video. And so it'll even talk about like where you're having peaks and valleys in terms of your attention and how it correlates to the actual topics you're talking about. And it comes up with some recommendations here, refine introductions. What I think could be really helpful for is what I was playing with earlier, is using this then to have a better understanding of what your audience actually wants out of your next interview. Thinking about like, how can I improve the topics we cover, what I'm getting out of guests, types of guests we go after. So for instance, we could ask something like, given the attention and related topics, what does my audience find value in? What don't they really want? Okay, so yeah, this is neat. They want practical application and impact. That makes sense. Solution and problem solving, deep dive into relevant technologies. What they don't want, lengthy or abstract introductions. Yeah, dang, they're just like kind of shitting on my intro here. I thought it was pretty good. Less dynamic discussions or abstract concepts. So the sections around product market fit, saw dips in retention, for instance. I thought the audience values was a little vague. Maybe we can dig more into that. Can you be more specific about the topics in the video type that our audience got value out of? Here we go. All right, they like the demo. Barry gave a very good demo of Hex, so I believe it. There was an initial drop in the beginning of the demo, and then retention improved as he moved through it. So maybe some people are like, yeah, I don't want a demo. But for those who do want a demo, they stayed through the whole thing. I mean, the real world application is just relating back to like the title. It was a pretty good title. Had a 10x data work with Hex Agentic AI. And again, okay, they just referred back to the title in terms of other thing. What if I say, ignore the title? Just tell me about the content in the transcript that people enjoyed and stayed for. All right, here we go. The origin story, minute 2 to 4 around the origin story and the problem Hex solves. The human element of data from 5 to 7. Yeah, that was a pretty good conversation we had with Barry around like the definition or the strengths of a data scientist aren't necessarily that they know Python and they know like, I don't know, complicated causal inference model like double bias machine learning or something. It's more around like they're people who like puzzles and solve problems, want to have impact, kind of like solve mysteries. That was a nice discussion. This is a little weird. Now they're saying product market fit was good. And then, yes, we already know about the demo. Okay, so let's try and dig into that. Was product market fit topic good or bad for our audience. You brought it up in both strengths, and the topic's good because it was engaging, it says. However, specific segments within product fit showed dips. Okay, and then it gives you some timestamps. So that's pretty cool. Like it just like teases out all these timestamps and then relates it back to exactly what it was speaking of. These timestamps around product market fit, which also touched on the evolving role of data professionals, had noticeable drops in viewership, suggests the topic itself is interesting, but the way it was presented in those particular moments might have been less dynamic or visually stimulating. Visually stimulating podcast, a bit of a challenge, but yes, I can definitely take some improvement and be more dynamic. Let's shift gears a little bit. Let's say, like, given how this performed and how other videos perform, what would you recommend I focus on in future interviews? Oh, okay. So this is kind of cool. It wants me to qualify what good performance means. I thought I would assume something. YouTube, we all know it's watch time, my friend, because that's what you monetize on. But also, clicks don't mean shit if people don't stay. See what it says. All right, this is pretty cool. It's pulling from multiple videos now. We're not just looking at Hex. So here's some recommendations. Practical application of data tools and AI. And it quotes some of our past videos where we had a demo of Replit with Colin Matthews, where we ran around how to build a BI agent, which both performed quite well. Career pathways. Yeah, we've also seen performance in these. How to become a data engineer with VK. That was a great episode. 4 steps to becoming an AI engineer. I think that was with Aishwarya. That was a great one. Okay. Strategic evolving trends. Deep dives into specific innovative technologies. So yeah, it's kind of interesting 2 directions. I think it's like data tools and then careers. I mean, this is just kind of so much better than me trying to go through all the videos myself and like draw the patterns, even like if I was like leveraging AI, because it has all of the data. And the transcript thing's amazing. Okay, so let's say we want more interviews around what do they call it? Like this is their ones. What should we ask about? All right, so we took those kind of that common theme around basically tools and technology. Yeah, I mean, these are pretty good. It's like, what's the problem you're trying to solve? Tell me about how you integrated the workflow. What are some best practices and pitfalls? Oh, tell me about the impact. I mean, yeah, feel like that's kind of something we drop the ball on a lot of times, is like asking about the impact. And then separate ones it did for deep dive into technologies. I wonder if it'll tell me who I should interview. Okay, for this data tools, who should I interview next? I mean, I do like how it gives you some advice, and then each time it's high performing videos. It says why you should do it. But what if I just need to pick like one type of person? This is not very helpful because it was just like interview anyone in tech at any level. If I were to interview one type of person around data tools, who would that be? Okay, founders and products. Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense. And it kind of goes back to this one with Barry, which was quite high performing for the time so far. They can articulate both. I like how again, it kind of like gives you the context of the video itself. What should I cut from my video on Hex to improve? Let's see. Kind of trashed my intro before, which I thought was quite nice. But let's see if it brings it up again. Boom. That initial intro. It takes so long to edit those things too. So I mean, they're not helping. Considering it more concise and impactful, perhaps lead with a more direct, compelling problem statement. Okay, it's fair. Let's dive into the intro. Take a look at the intro. What should I do next time based on YouTube best practices, not just my videos? All right, so let's see if it'll give me recs from just like its general YouTube advice. Okay, so it's asking me for the ID. Somehow forgot what video we're talking about. I think this is the ID up here. Kind of weird I lost that context, right? And we were talking about Hex. It said it a bunch of times. So it gives me the length and then yeah. Creates retention again. Okay, here's what you should do next time based on YouTube best practices. That's cool. Hook immediately with a problem or value proposition. Your video starts with, what is Hex if you're doing anything with Data Hex can massively accelerate your workflows. While it states a benefit, it quickly dives into general overview. Best practice is the most crucial part of your intro is very beginning. Instead of explaining what is Hex, immediately state the most compelling problem your audience faces that the interview will solve. Okay. And Barry does like a very good job in this interview about explaining the problems and pain points that Hex is solving. We could have used those in the intro. Front load the most engaging content within the first minute. Current approach. The call to action. Don't forget to subscribe appears around 126. And the formal introductions follow. Okay, the best practice is that viewers decide very quickly if they want to continue watching. So after your initial hook, I should consider a short, impactful sizzle reel. A sizzle reel, okay, I like this. Or a quick montage and those interesting sound bites. This gives viewers a taste of the value. I mean, we kind of do this. This is not sizzling enough. I thought it was pretty sizzly. Keep formal introductions concise and integrated. Oh, lengthy introductions can lose viewers. We need to get to the point. Man, I wonder if me, Hans Ravi, should stop introducing ourselves. I feel like we should just talk about the star of the show, Barry, or whoever our guest is. Optimize intro length, 30 to 60 seconds. Yeah, 140 was pretty long. That's pretty good advice. Okay, how about, all right, so we talked a lot about retention. This is pretty cool. So retention, it gave us what's working well, what's not working so well. It compared it to a bunch of our other videos to say what it did differently, told us some stuff to cut, gave us some actual interview questions and topics to focus on that we had high retention on, which I would think translates directly to what our audience is looking for. And that's what all this content should really be about, what our audience wants. And then it even gave me like pretty detailed thing about what my intro should be. Okay, actually, let's try one more thing. I kind of don't think this will work, but I wonder if it will tell us what the intro should have been since it does have the full transcript. And then I want to go a little bit of a different direction. So you have the full transcript. What parts should we have included in our intro instead with respect to the problem statement and the sizzle reel? Man, I like that term. Dang, no way to do it. Here's some parts you can include in your intro for a strong problem statement. The general overview, go introduction. Okay, so focus on efficiency. Are you tired of your data work feeling like a constant battle with notebooks, SQL queries, and endless screenshots? What if you could 10x your data workflow? So this wasn't actually said in the interview though. It's kind of like creating a new question. I mean, I guess I could lead with that, right? I could record something like this before. Okay, so I mean, the intro stuff, it just said like some liners for me to say, not actually pulling from the transcript. Then it says, here's a sizzle rule. Okay, this actually holds some stuff. So trying to see the adapted from, I think it's like if you change your words, it's not actually stuff pulled from it. But this, I think, is actually verbatim. Building a DAG via static analysis, understanding what's happening in your code. Maybe. It says from pulling from that timestamp. And this next one. And this is general theme. So this is just stuff that I guess we would say. Okay, so it just gave me like an interest to be able to say. What if I'm like, I don't want to voice over. I want to use verbatim content. It's crazy because I use Riverside. Like I'm recording this right now in Riverside, and we use Riverside for our podcast technology, and they have some AI stuff, but it's not bad. It does some good kind of like magic editing in clips, but it's nothing like this. I mean, it doesn't have obviously the actual like user data from viewing, but I feel like I could have drawn some conclusions around here just from pulling from the web. All right, sorry, get back to this. All right, so this is going directly from it. All right. So this is kind of funny because it's telling me the common pain points, but they're already things I have in my intro. But I guess it's just that first 30 seconds of the intro. They're like, okay, the first 30 is good. And then here's the sizzle reel. Okay, so it says all that needs to happen in one place. Talks about the DAGs, talks about how it's hard, says something about agents. I mean, this is not in the video. This is going to 10x your data. Okay, well, I bet if I mess with it a little longer, I could probably force it into pulling actual verbatims, but let's shift gears. I want to look at like thumbnail and title stuff. It told us a bunch of stuff how to increase retention already. And so the next thing I want to look at is top of funnel. How is my top of funnel, i.e. CTR? Okay, so I thought I was talking about my full channel. How does the video about Hex compare? Yeah, obviously performing well. Why is the Hex CTR outperforming the rest of my channel? All right, so it's gonna look at the drivers. Here's a breakdown of the last 28 days. Key traffic sources, search. Exceptionally high CTR in search at 14.6%. I wish it kind of told me what the average was. Suggested videos, 4.7%. I think that's also pretty good. And then browse is it's the largest source of impression, but it's just kind of average CTR. So suggested in search are outperforming. Strong performance in YouTube search. People are searching for Hex, Barry. That's great. All right. How about my title and thumbnail? I mean, that's why people click, right? And notes the strong CTR. Yes, how to 10x data work with Hex agentic AI. Very clear. Value proposition, strong search relevance, effective suggestion appeal, and then actionable insight. Okay, this is cool. Continue to create titles and thumbnails that are specific, highlight a clear benefit, and accurately represent the content of your videos, especially technical deep dives. Anything you would do to improve the title? Emphasize how to with a strong benefit. All right, it says to say unlock. I mean, that does sound pretty good. Unlock 10x data workflow. The Hex agentic AI blueprint versus how to 10x data work with Hex agentic AI. I don't know. What do you all think's better? Drop in the comments your vote between these two. I mean, I do like unlock. I don't know about like the AI blueprint, but or highlight transformation, transform your data workflow. The secret, create more intrigue. Yes, intrigue. The secret of a 10x data workflow, Hex agentic AI. All right. I feel like secret and unlock, those are things I might try next time. When considering these options, think about your channel's tone, target audience, and the thumbnail synergy. How do you like the current thumbnail synergy? I don't know if I can actually look at the thumbnail. I wonder if it does images. So far, everything seems to be text-based. Yeah, you cannot fetch thumbnail description. But a high CTR, I mean, it draws some conclusions that are implied by the CTR, visually appealing, complements the title, accurate represents content. I mean, I think this is a pretty good title. Okay, some of our other videos, all of our videos are really awesome interviews. We have like really good guests on Data Neighbor, but some of them just do not get CTR or impressions for some reason sometimes. I want to see if it'll give me recs on how to improve titles based on this one. Given how this title performed for my audience, are there any titles of my other videos you would change and how and why? Hopefully this works. Okay, great. Analyze what's working well and apply those insights. Let's look at some of your other recent videos. So what's an AI research engineer? This was one we just did. We just released this today at this time of recording with Sandy Besson. She's an AI research engineer at IBM. Become an AI research engineer, what it takes and how to start. I'm actually going to change that. That's pretty good. Actionable benefit, what's an AI researcher to become, immediately shifts the focus from a definition to an aspirational goal. All right, I'm going to update that one. Okay, and then this other one, why AI breaks when everyone starts using it. Okay, so this is from our last week's episode with Jigyasa Grover. She is an MLE at Uber, and we talked a bunch about how like agentic frameworks and just like LLMs and in general kind of within a product start to fail at scale. And this is here is to avoid AI failure, why a widespread adoption breaks systems. Okay, I mean, I'll change that. I mean, these are all pretty good suggestions. This next one here is from a few weeks ago. Okay, it says instead of the boring future, it says embrace the boring future. Why data engineering stability is key. Another one down here, what AI product development will look like in 5 years. Future-proof your career. I mean, yeah, these are pretty good. Like they're all about saying what to do, like setting a goal or actually like giving some advice within the title itself. All right, so I'm actually gonna change all 4 of these after this, and we'll see how if it spikes the performance at all. But I mean, I feel like this should just be a YouTube feature. I think they do have some sort of like AI recommendation, but they should just go back and look at the performance of your previous videos and or like giving your audience what else do they like and change videos. Okay, actually, we haven't tried this yet, so let's see if they'll just tell me about my audience. All right, so there is some audience tab in analytics, but it's usually like pretty high level. It's usually something like gender, country, age. Okay, there's not enough data to determine when my audience is typically online. That's fine. However, we can explore other aspects, content formats. Your audience has a very high interest in traditional long form videos and a high interest in shorts. Okay, that's not terribly helpful. Viewer overlap. 91% of my viewers watch my long term. Okay, I don't really give a shit about short form. So, okay, this is kind of just stuff we already know. Talks about where they are. It basically tells me that, like, if I get more people and it has more data, it'll tell me more. This isn't very helpful. I wanted to know more about, like, what other content outside my channel does my audience like? No idea if this will work. Okay. Okay. It says I'll gain access to this data as my channel grows. What about could you look at what videos are suggesting my content or searches? I don't think we're going to get a answer here. Okay. Actually, yes. People want to know about data science salary, and they want to know about data engineering, and they want to know about Hex. Yeah. There's our 2025 themes. And where are they coming from? Google search, LinkedIn, and we do post a lot on LinkedIn. ChatGPT. All right, 3 views from ChatGPT. Not something we would have seen a few years ago. Okay, I think we kind of exhausted a lot of the learnings here. I was just going to sum up for you the learnings, but let's see if it'll sum it up. Can you summarize everything we learned in our chat? Okay. Explore channel performance over the last 28 days. High-performing video insights, audience. The title is clear. How to approach audience discovery. How to improve CTR intention. Refine the titles for clarity. And then it gives us the changes in the 4 titles we should do. Didn't really tell us anything about thumbnails. And then future interview profiles. Oh, it popped out a few other ones. Research engineer. We already interviewed Sandy. Go check out that episode. It'll be titled Become an AI Research Engineer, What It Takes and How to Start. Data science engineering hiring managers or recruiters. Oh, we haven't had any recruiters on the show. That's actually a pretty good idea. Hex or similar data tool, product manager developers. Yes, we'll definitely do that. We've actually already chatted with a few. We'll talk about that later. It didn't re-summarize the intro changes, but I think it had some good ideas there with the problem statement and this is real. Last question. I just had one. What's it going to be? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to make a video about this chat and the new Ask Studio tool, aka you. What should I title? I just recorded our chat and we'll post that. Let's see. Title suggested for you. I used AI to grow my YouTube channel, Ask Studio Review. Behind the scenes, my YouTube AI assistant. Ask Studio AI, how I'm analyzing my Data Neighbor podcast. Live demo. That's a good one. All right, so I'm asking it, give it one more try. AI for YouTube growth. Ask Studio analyzes. Unlock your YouTube data. Well, Ask Studio AI boost YouTube performance. Man, I really focused in on the Data Neighbor thing. All right. I'll ask Studio AI boost YouTube performance. That's pretty good. What should the thumbnail look like given performs best across YouTube and given the title content? Let's see if it'll give me any ideas. I wonder if it can generate images. Before, after, growth chart concept. Okay, I kind of like that growth chart concept. Key elements to include my face, clear contrasting text, channel branding, simplicity, high resolution. Let's just see if it can do an image. I like the growth chart idea. Can you detail what that would look like? To describe it first, and then we'll see if it can generate an image. Okay, so you want a chart, and use some optimistic colors, wants my face in it, gives YouTube a rule of thirds. Oh, kind of gives some design principles. It's cool. Can you generate it? Cross your fingers. I'm going to guess no. I can't. Okay, that's fine. Can you Write me a prompt, generate it. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up here. So this was pretty cool though. We learned about increasing the top of funnel of the multiple videos on Data Neighbor podcast based on the performance of our top performing videos. I'm gonna change some titles after this. Um, kind of dove deep into this hex video with Barry, told me about how I might iterate on the intro next time. It also talked a bit about what are some of the kind of like key topics that people actually found valuable, both within this video and across other videos. That recommended some other people I should reach out to. Then got some good ideas there around maybe a recruiter in the data space or AI space, and then also some more founders of like data tools like Hex. What else did it tell us? Yeah, I don't know how helpful the things to drop were. I mean, I think it has some good ideas with the intro around like, hey, do the problem straight statement immediately, do the sizzle reel, and then for intros, keep it short and sweet. So maybe we'll just focus on the guest in the future. I did like that it created some interview questions for me, was not able to give me much in terms of my audience details. And then I thought this was kind of funny. Just like I'll put this video up and we'll see how it performs with the title it created here. And I'll drop this prompt into Gemini or ChatGPT or something and get a thumbnail maybe. But thanks for watching. Yeah, we haven't made this kind of video before, so if you found it helpful or kind of interesting, drop something in the comments. Also, I don't know, if you've used this Ask Studio, would love to learn how you're leveraging it. But pretty cool tool. Good job, YouTube. Thanks.